Greetings and welcome to day 2 of the Why New Year's Resolutions Do Not Work video training series in preparation for the New Year, New View challenge that is coming up next week, January 2nd to the 8th. My name is Diane Thomas. I'm a certified high performance coach. Before I move any further, wanting to give you the greeting of the season. This is Kwanzaa. I celebrate Kwanzaa. And this is the third day of Kwanzaa, which is Ujima. And that, the response, usually there's a call and response. So I would say Habari Gani. And then the response would be Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility. All right. And so, again, a lot of what I do is wanting to keep the traditions of our people in a space where we can have them be tangible and realize them in everyday life. And so, certainly, as we are working collectively to get to the spaces that we want to be in our lives, we need to think about what we're bringing, what our individual contributions are to that. And so, starting the year out in a few days, wanting to look at what we need to get in order so we can show up for the people who are depending on us. We can make our own particular contribution to the work, to the collective work that is happening, right? So, to that end, that is the purpose of this video series, to kind of get ready. We've got the free challenge coming up next week, so that'll continue the work that we start here. So hopefully you've been taking notes. You'll continue to take notes, to get your paper and pen ready to take notes, to put yourself in a good position, right, to get started for the next year in a way that is going to look very different than the year that you just ended. All right. So we're looking at the whys of why New Year's resolutions tend to not work. And yesterday we kind of reviewed a little bit of that around clarity, right? We took a look first at what are some of the themes and the things that tend to keep people back. The fact that, we make a lot of these resolutions and they don't happen, right? And one of those reasons is around clarity. The other reason that we're going to go over today is around the fact that a lot of the goals, which is what a resolution is, right? It's a goal, it's something we're trying to achieve, are not realistic. All right. And there are usually two things around our failure around meeting the goals, right? That tend to be prevalent for the most part. One of them is that we are choosing goals that are too hard, you know. So we end up getting discouraged and we give up really quickly on continuing towards that goal because for us it's too hard, and at least in the space that we're in at the time that we're choosing to do them. The other reason it could be the opposite, right, is that they're too easy. So we get through them very quickly, or we don't feel challenged, and then we get bored and we give up. All right. So, in looking at the goals that we're saying that we want to set, there is a framework that you can use as you're developing those goals, as you're developing those resolutions that can help you better position yourself for success as you are working towards those goals. And so, if you come from the space where I've been in my work, we talk a lot about SMART goals and a framework for building SMART goals. And so that is an acronym. And so I'll go over the acronym with you so you can start to think through, if you are not familiar with this framework, how you can apply it to putting your resolutions in place. So the first is really working to increase your success around this by making sure that they are specific. Now, they need to be specific to a particular, maybe overall plan that you have for your life, but they need to be as specific as they possibly can so you can actually think through how you would make them happen and make them achievable for your life, right? So they need to be non confusing, they can't be wishy washy and blurry lined. They need to be defined as you can possibly make them. So that's the S for SMART, is that they need to be specific. The M in SMART stands for measurable. So you need to have a way that, in the way that these goals are put together, that you are able to track them, so that you know whether or not you are on task, right? So if you're saying that you want to um, walk 10,000 steps in a day, right? How are you going to track that? Are you wearing, a Fitbit? Are you taking time and maybe breaking up your day so that you can do a certain number of steps per hour? What are you doing? And being able to then record that, right? Because you've got to be able to refer back to that. So making sure that you have a way to measure it, all right, whether it's in time, whether it's in some other framework. If it's a diet that you're on, you're wanting to go on, how are you going to measure your ability and your success around making the incremental change that you need to, all right, to lose the weight, etc. You have a scale. Do you have a scale to weigh yourself in weight? Are you using a scale to weigh your food? Things like that, because you may decide, oh well, I'm not going to drink any more than 16 ounces of soda today. So you must be taking a measuring cup and measuring all that out. So measurement is really important, so you're able to track it and be accountable, right? Which we'll talk about a little bit later on. The A in SMART goals is attainable. So these goals need to be realistic for the space that you're in, for the um, in consideration of your mindset, in consideration of your realities of your life. They need to be achievable based on where you are right now and where you want to be. You don't want to set a goal for yourself or a resolution for yourself that you know you're not going to be able to do. If you say you want to get to the gym at 5 a.m. every morning, but you know that you got the kids that you've got to get ready to get out the door by 7. Is that realistic? Is that attainable for you? It's maybe not, likely not, if you don't have any additional help. Okay, so give yourself as much grace around that as you possibly can to make sure that you're setting yourself. All these are um, little tweaks and things that you could do to make sure you're setting yourself up for success. So make sure the goal is really something that is attainable. And then relevant is the R in SMART. So they need to be relevant to your values, your dreams, and your ambitions. Just because your friend says, hey, I want to, climb Mount Everest next year, they may have climbed mountains in other parts of the world. And so next year is Mount Everest. Does that tie in with your anything that you want to do? Climbing Mount Everest? I know that's kind of a maybe extreme example, but is that something that you aspire to do in your life? And is it relevant to the other things that you have in place for yourself and thinking in terms of plans for your future? If it's not, don't set it. So think very thoughtfully about, and very clearly and deliberately about how relevant the goal is, the resolution is, to your overall life, to what you believe, to what your values are, to what you dream, to what you want to accomplish in your ambitions. All right. And then finally, the T in SMART goals is time bound. All right. One of the challenges around resolutions is we think, well, we didn't get to it this week. We'll get to it next week. I already got 52 weeks left, or 50 weeks left or whatever. I didn't get it done this week. I'll do it next week. That is not a way towards success. You have to set a time frame for the goal. So there needs to be a target date for when this goal is going to be accomplished, or else you'll always be putting it off and you won't be setting yourself up for success. And yes, you will be at the end of the year realizing I kept putting it off. That's why I didn't get to it. All right, so hopefully that gives you some food for thought again for you to think this through today and think about what are the resolutions now that I'm clear from yesterday. You made your list. Now, which of these resolutions meet, you can take through the SMART goal framework and determine, okay, they meet those requirements, and then we can move on to the next opportunity for you to think through how you can be more successful with your resolutions, which will be coming up tomorrow. So until then, you all have a great day. Be safe. Be well. See you soon.